Hi, Mike here. You're watching Yukon Scout Restoration. In this video, I will inspect and reseal the transfer case for my 1966 Scout 800. At the end of the video, I will install the transfer case onto the transmission and make sure it's shifting. This is not a how-to video. It's a how I do video. I hope you like it. If you want to help, please subscribe to Yukon Scout Restoration. It's free. Mike Morrow, over and out. Hello. This is the transfer case from my 1966 Scout 800. Notice it has the 2 gear shifts. This is for the rear axle, and this is for the front axle. All the way forward is low, in the middle is neutral, and all the way back is high. So if you want 4 low, you put both sticks all the way forward. Neutral, 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low. What I'm going to do, see how the bearings are, gears are, if anything's worn out. It seems to be fairly good, but it definitely needs some new seals. It needs new shifter shaft seals here, and the input, or the 2 output seals need to be replaced. And the first thing I'm going to do is remove the pan off the bottom. I previously removed this pan, and there was very little material. Either it was recently serviced, which I doubt, or it was rebuilt at some point. I'm looking at this rear output gear, and it's in excellent condition. No hard surface worn off, no chips on the gear. And so far, the bearing feels very nice. The front output, same thing. These gears are in excellent condition. This idler is also in excellent condition. No chips, no chipped gears anywhere. As I remember, when I took the pan off, the pan was very clean. There wasn't any metal in there, obviously, because everything is just nice and good here. Like this cluster, this idler gear is turning so beautifully, smoothly. Because everything looks so good here, and because the gasket's intact, I'm just going to put this drain pan back on temporarily with 2 bolts. So when I'm rolling it around on the bench, I don't contaminate it or damage the gears or something like that. So I'm checking the end play on the output shaft. If I push it all the way in and I pull it all the way out, push it all the way in, all the way out, it's just a little less than 2/1000ths of an inch. And the spec for this is 1 to 5 thou. So that means it's just a perfect front output yoke. Emery cloth will clean that up. After removing the grease nipple and the set screw, I can drive out the pin. Before removing the shift levers, I will tape them together for ease of reinstallation. Initially, these shift rails had a lot of blue paint on them. I removed it, but that's why I must change the seals. I was able to pry the seals out. The notches on the shift rails have very sharp edges, so you have to be very careful when putting the new seals on. Lubrication helps a lot, but you don't want to cut the new seal. Note that the new seals are thicker than the originals. I always clean up any machine surface where a seal runs with some emery cloth. Sometimes the impact of installing the seal causes the spring to pop off the back, and it just sort of lays there inside the transmission. It usually doesn't hurt anything, but sometimes it can cause some damage. So what I do is pack a little bit of petroleum jelly around the spring, and then it doesn't pop off. And the petroleum jelly just melts and mixes with the oil. The other thing I like to do with this type of seal is put a little Permatex aviation form gasket on there. It's just an extra precaution. They'll go in nice like that. This is a lock nut, so it doesn't need Loctite. I think this torque spec is way too high. I'm checking the end plate on the front output shaft. And I make it to be 2 thou, so it's well within the limits. So this transfer case is excellent. It's important to blow out the grease holes in the shifter pin. The pin fits very well in the ears and in the holes in the shifters, so nothing is worn out. The reason I tape the shifters together is that they have a flat, wavy spring between them that pushes them apart. This works as a detent to hold them in position. I'm squeezing the shifters together and putting the ends of the shifters into the notches on the shift rails and lining up the holes for the pin to go in. Now I'm tightening the lock bolt against the pin and installing the grease nipple. Because I live in an extremely cold climate, I always use synthetic grease. Removing the rear output seal. Replacing the rear output seal. So the end play is perfect. All the gears are in excellent condition. Everything looks happy. So I'm just going to put the pan back on. I'm reusing the old gasket because it's in good condition. 10 to 15 foot-pounds on these pan bolts. 25 to 32 for the remaining 3/8 bolts, all the 3/8 bolts. It's important to check the vent, clean it, blow it out, spray a little brake clean or something in there. Now that I've resealed the transmission and transfer case and thoroughly inspected them, and I'm satisfied that they're in excellent condition, I'm going to install the transfer case onto the back of the transmission. I've coated the gasket with Permatex Aviation Pharma gasket and installed it on the back of the transmission. I put a temporary dowel here to hold the gasket and to help me line up the transfer case when I install it. This bottom bolt here, which is the only rear-facing bolt, must be installed before the adapter plate or it won't fit. Now I'm squirting some gear oil onto the gears. I'm now ready to put the transfer case on the transmission. The open head wrench on it, and you can turn it one flat at a time. So just for fun, I'm going to put the transmission in first gear. Let's direct up. That should be neutral, and that should be neutral. So I can turn these. I can turn this independently. Everybody's in neutral. Until I put this one, two-wheel drive, high gear. This doesn't turn. And this is turning, so it's too high. Too high. Now that is too low. Too high. Neutral. Right. Too low. Yeah. Now, four-wheel drive. Or two-wheel drive. In conclusion, I think that in the past, someone put work and money into this Scout. Some of that went into the transfer case and transmission. It's not like the Scout wasn't used. The odometer reading is around 45,000 miles, and the engine was totally worn out. I will get back to this subject in future videos. In my next video, I will build and install the long brake line and the fuel crossover line before installing the transmission and transfer case. I hope you like it. If you want to help, please subscribe to Yukon Scout Restoration. It's free. Mike Morrow, over and out.